Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Hope you're having a great day. Let's talk about Zillow. So, there's this great article that Fortune magazine just released, and it was just a lot of great information about Zillow, what they've been up to, their failures, some of their successes. And I just want to share it with you because it was just so fun to read. it's and look, I don't want to say anything bad about Zillow. I'm just going to let the article do it for me. How's that? So let's go. Zillow, 6 billion home flipping business was a disaster. If you hadn't been following along with what they've been doing, yeah, it was pretty much a disaster. Let me see if I can remove my little picture on the left so you can see the article better. There we go. Let's scroll down. Scroll down with me. I'll take you for this great ride. Now, a cooling housing market could foil its comeback plan. And I'm going to go over the highlighted areas. I'm going to put this article inside of the YouTube channel. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can just grab it from there. But let's go into this. Zillow is now averaging more than 200 million users a month. This article was released today. So 200 million users a month, roughly double the number of people checking the latest scores on ESPN. I use ESPN and I love it. So let's go in now. We're going to take a look at how real estate agents. So if you're a real estate agent listening in, you're going to love this part. And I did some math for you too. You're going to love that. Turner is a Zillow Premier agent, meaning she pays the company for the contact information of interested buyers who submit through their site. And in 2018, one of those Zillow leads connected her with a couple looking for a second home in Charleston, South Carolina, where Turner's a broker at Mason Real Estate. And with her help, the buyers landed $335,000 a cottage. Great job. 2 years later, they reached out and now they got an investment property for $450K. Okay, not bad. And then a residence at the heart of downtown for $845,000. That's four major sales from one lead because they represented on both sides. One, so seller, buyer, and a buyer. And now you look, here's the best part of this. So follow along with me, please. Zillow leads aren't perfect solution for agents are a perfect solution for agents like Turner, but check out what she said in blue. I highlighted it for you so you can read it. She says she pays Zillow about $250,000 a year for all of this information, all these leads she gets, and credits it for just 12% of her sales. 12% of her sales. And I just calculated something for you because the last time I visited just online, I just Googled, hey, what's the most visited website in the world? And Zillow wasn't on the top 20. The number one was Google. And when I typed in homes for sale in any area, I saw that Google was paying, I saw that Zillow was paying Google to show up on the ad section, and so was Redfin and Realtor.com. So I'm thinking, I'm like, let me calculate this because I did some math for you, so pay attention. 12% of her business, and she's paying $250,000 a year. I'm like, well, what about using the same strategy that Google does? They have Google PPC. What if I ran Google PPC and spent $250,000 a year? I average $16 a lead. That's 15,000 leads in a year. 15,000. If I'm pretty good at this, talking to people, connecting with them, let's say it's about 1%. I can convert 1%, right? That's about 150 closings a year at 1%. That's about at a $450,000 average in homes. So keep on with me. That's about $1.7 million a year. That's if I use the exact same strategy that that Zillow has been using for years, and that Redfin has been using for years, and that Realtor.com has been using for years, which is they're using Google to get their name out there. So why am I using a middleman? So I'm just looking at you like, hey, there's a better solution, and that's called Google pay-per-click. Now let me go back to this because they're not just using agents according to this article. They're also going after the consumer. But first, let's talk about this aspect of what Zillow has been doing for years. It says this aspect of Zillow's business has never been the sexiest part of what it does. After all, lead generation has been around for decades, going back to telemarketers and even door-to-door salesmen, but its financials might get you going. In 2021, The division that includes lead gen was the company's second largest, and this is my favorite part, only profitable portion of its balance sheet. Pretty much is the only thing that's working for Zillow. So that's pretty nuts. Now, we go deeper. There's a lot of beautiful things you can read here. But the path to Zillow's home flipping debacle, because that's what was big news a few months back, began innocently enough with a small scale pilot program in Phoenix and Las Vegas in 2018. I remember that whole switch when Richard Barton switched over and he says, hey, we're going in a new direction. Spencer Raskoff, you did a great job getting us here. Let's switch over. We're going to start buying some homes. The company, which got its start in 2006 when it launched its home price estimator tool, the Zestimate, and you know the Zestimate, though its algorithm could suss out a home's current worth and predict how it could change in the future, right? That's really what they say. Hey, our Zestimate's amazing. The plan was to identify properties that are quickly appreciating and have motivated sellers willing to pay Zillow 5 to 9% service fees as they're buying the homes, right? And flip them into a profit, which we saw. We're like, hey, now they're going to go into the territory and start buying homes. Interesting. They're going to compete with the actual people that want to buy homes. You know, when there was a shortage of homes and they were going in and buying homes and competing against those first-time home buyers and driving prices up higher. Yeah, that was Zillow. So they were competing not only against agents, but they're competing now against the actual consumer. So this article says, by the way, it's written really well. It says that's not a bad theory. They wanted to do the flip, fix and flip, or buy and then maybe sell it for a little bit more. Not a bad theory, but doomed by a pair of issues. It says one beyond Zillow's control and the other explicitly of its own making. I just found that super funny because of the Zestimate, right? First came the pandemic, which led many, including Zillow, to assume the worst, right? But if you've been following along with us, we called it first month and we said, hey, this isn't the normal thing that's going to happen, as everybody's saying. We're going to do a sharp rebound. This is going to be amazing. So we told everybody. So if people were following along, they'd be like, oh, got it. Yeah, we know what's going to happen. First, they screwed that up, right? And that pandemic issue was the problem because they said, hey, everybody, we're going to stop what we're doing. We're going to stop buying. And it says the company halved what it charged agents for leads as it hunkered down for a stagnant market. But the slowdown never came. Well, it was pretty nutty. And as we go down over here, which is what I love to see here, I love charts. So you see 2020, it started going down, it dipped, and then all of a sudden it shot right back up, and their Zillow stock was amazing. They were buying and buying, and then they started dropping because then they announced, hey, this isn't working like we thought because this estimate kind of isn't working out. And if you scroll down here to understand what's really bringing in their profits, right? The home sales are the black, right? But it doesn't mean it's profitable. That's the thing. You can see here, I'll put the graph in here as well. It's the link. And Ted, I can't read that whole uh, little comment you made, but I'm sure it's right on, buddy. I'll read that in a little bit. And all this data is in here, but let's keep on reading. Keep on reading with me. I've got like 3 more minutes. By spring of 2021, the market had overheated to a point where Zillow's much lauded algorithm, you know, the Zestimate, the backbone of its home flipping strategy, was struggling to make accurate pricing predictions. Believing its own inflated numbers, say analysts, the company began overpaying for homes all across the country. And that's the Zestimate that a lot of people use, and it's not working. Let's go back. Here, scroll down. Zillow executives, that's what they had to say, are blasé about the failures of its algorithm, the loss of millions of dollars, and the implosion of Zillow offers. It's part of business. You're going to take some big swings. Some work out, some don't, says Zillow president Susan Daimler. Okay, interesting. Very good. Says it's part of their plan, right? But one thing I want to show you here that I didn't highlight is that at the bottom over here, well, yeah, I did highlight it. Over 6 million or so people who bought a home in the US last year, about 4 million visited Zillow. That's a ton. 4 million of these people who were going to go buy a home visited Zillow. And this is where they come in and say, hey, look, this person visited. We're gonna target them, and then as they come back, we're going to sell this lead. So at some point in the process, according to the company, roughly 1.5 million of them asked Zillow to put them in touch with a real estate agent. But here's the part I want you to focus on. Yet only 3% of all US home transactions in 2021 involved a buyer who was connected to an agent through Zillow. That's 3%. The company, here's the direction they want to go. The company thinks it can double that share by 2025, so 6%, taking it above 5 billion in annual revenue, right? And if you keep on reading, they say, well, we want to kind of own the whole process. We want to own not only title, mortgage, but what else can we own here? Because we want to really own everything, starting from when the lead comes through, that person asking to be connected to an agent, and maybe we'll take a piece of what we're giving to the agent too in commission form, and then we'll take title, we'll take mortgage, and we'll take everything else along the way, right? Because we know it's working and it's been working, right? Because their home flipping business kind of didn't work. Here we go. In fact, things are already looking pretty maxed out, though. This is why this article is saying, hey, you have good plans, but I think it's not going to work out. An analysis conducted this spring by Moody's, and we've talked about this over the last few videos, found 96% of housing is overvalued. And a housing correction is going to be a tough break for Zillow, obviously. Fewer buyers and sellers means less demand for its services. Critically, that also means fewer good leads to sell agents. And because realtors often drop out of the industry during down markets, fewer agents to buy them. And as you and I know, Zillow targets mostly big teams, big brokers, people that produce. So they're still going to be around purchasing these. The company's home flipping experiment was a step away from that mission, this whole mission to sell leads to agents. Perhaps this new direction will bring it back to its roots, empowering homebuyers, not competing against them. I mean, at the end of the day, not competing against the agent either. So I want you to understand where they're going so you understand what Zillow's approach to everything is. And at the bottom line, they just want to make more money. It doesn't matter if they compete against the actual people that are trying to buy homes, the consumer. It doesn't matter if they compete against the agents. It just doesn't matter to them. The point is, they need to make their bottom line work. And that's what Zillow is. And that's what I wanted to bring you today. So hope you had a good ride with me. Hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, put them in here and have an awesome day. Oh, and subscribe to my channel on YouTube, please.